The real side of things. They lowered rates down to zero, they pushed asset prices up, and most CEOs or executives or insiders, they've cashed out. So what happens with interest rates? And they dictate the entire economy. So when they push rates that low, they cause almost so much growth that it's artificial growth. Now, on the exact opposite side of the coin, the government controls interest rates, and now they've raised them historically high. So they've raised them not higher than they've ever been, but the pace of rate. So they've never raised rates threefold or fourfold from almost 0% to 5% of the federal funds rate. What that's going to do is cause they're trying to fight inflation is what they say. That's the narrative, okay? And they're going to cause deflation. It's going to be really bad. It's going to cause a catastrophe, and everything that we own, like our houses, our cars, they're going to destroy the value of it. And why that happens is because when you buy a house at 2%, you're only paying 2% interest a year. Now it goes up to 7%. Every 1% interest rate goes up on a home roughly a year. 10% affordability gets hacked. It gets hacked off. So 3% of a 3% interest rate goes up. That's 30% of the pricing power. Now a lot of people that bought a house at 2% are happy, and I think that's a good way to look at it, but it's not a good thing, because if you buy at 2% and the price is $500,000 and it goes to 7%, now those houses have to come down to $300K. So you'll still lock in a great monthly payment. So if you plan to stay, you're set. But when you're going to lose $200K value on your home, and it's not going to happen in a night, it's going to happen in 4 years or 3 years. This kind of shit takes time, but the government, it's bullshit what they can do. They can just completely control the narrative. So they will eventually cut rates again, because the problem that they have with rates right now is that they're so high, and it's really bad because it raises rent. And when high rates force people to rent because owning becomes more expensive. So then the rent price actually goes up when rates go up, until the price of housing collapses. Then it becomes more affordable. But the government's CPI data, the way that they measure inflation, is done through rent. 30% of the CPI is through rent. So as rates go up and rent goes up, they're going to say, well, inflation's stubbornly high. They can't cut rates like they should be doing right now. Not cutting rates to zero like they did during COVID, but to a reasonable amount. They're just shocking the economy. They're going to completely shock the economy so bad that the money velocity, the cost to borrow money has gone up dramatically, and banks don't lend money now too, because the problem is they know it's more dangerous and harder to lend money at a higher rate because it becomes more risky. So you have a myriad of problems. And when this happens, when the economy, is going to collapse like it's going to, they can always lower rates to fuel the fire and try to get everything, the economy stimulated. That's the whole stimulus payment thing. But this time they've gone too far, and even if they cut rates, it's going to keep collapsing. So the government's plan, and the insiders, they know all this, and it's been coming. Through the COVID to now, they do this stuff on purpose because they're going to seize more control of everything. When the prices come down and the rates go up, they're going to buy things in cash that they made from low rates on COVID. So if you're a cash buyer of any asset with high rates, it's great. So what they're going to do is people are going to get pushed out. When these rates go up, they're not going to be able to afford things, and it's going to cause an issue. So when rates are going to increase in price, the amount of the rates are increase the price of the amount that you have to borrow. So even if it's $100,000, the rates are 8% instead of 2%, you're paying way more money. So long story short, people can't afford what they used to for the same price. And the government knows that, and it's going to force people to abandon certain things, and the government's going to swoop them up at a discount, and then they're going to push rates down and skyrocket the access prices. It's like a game of Monopoly, and the government, they run this shit, man. They run it. And it's no longer really a free democracy or a free economy. This shit is ran by the government, man. And I'm not complaining. I'm trying to play their coin. But if I can make a certain amount of money, they're always making more because they control the rules. They control the narrative. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not a doom and gloom thing. It's cyclical. They've done these cycles for a long time. But every time they do a cycle, they get more and more control. And people get less and less freedom.